Welcome back to the Convo Couch, ladies and gentlemen. Rockfin exclusive, powered by. It's the 2020 Iowa caucuses. It's still the second day. It's only one day of caucuses, but we're here to update you on what is going on. Last night, we went to sleep, a crazy night. CNN, MSNBC halted their results due to the fact that the Bernie Sanders had just taken the lead. We reported right here, the Bernie Sanders campaign. They did some great work. They had their own backup last night, ladies and gentlemen, as they caught the DNC red-handed according to their internal polling numbers. Nina Turner talked about it. Jeff Weaver talked about it. The Sanders campaign, kudos to them, came prepared and caught them red-handed. Now, as the results trickled in, we wanted to show you what the mainstream media does and why it's important to watch us over here. The mainstream media is now delaying the updated results yet again. Johnny Tsunami has caught them red-handed. We are watching hot off the wire from the Des Moines Register, which gets the exact numbers from the state, and then all the other outlets take it from there. The New York Times, the CNN, the MSNBC. The updated version just has Bernie Sanders taking the lead yet again. But Johnny, what does CNN and the mainstream media have?
Fucking look at CNN's website right now. Buttigieg leads a tight race. Let me refresh. Buttigieg leads a tight race. This is insane. This is insane. Now they're deflecting by saying Biden trails Buttigieg. I have a clip here where they were saying Buttigieg is leading right when the Register updated. Mm-hmm. They can update it. They haven't said Bernie is leading yet. They're still not saying it.
Sorry. All right, so that's what's going on. They did it last night. They're doing it again, ladies and gentlemen. They're suppressing the voice. Also, we had a very nefarious, dirty thing that happened last night. Pete Buttigieg had actually given money to this one company, the Shadow app, the app that crashed. And luckily for the Sanders campaign, like I said, they came full-handed. And once again, it's CIA Pete. You could see the videos last night. We just reposted Kim Iverson actually on this show last night when we asked all our guests, who are you scared about most about maybe coming in second place behind Bernie Sanders? And she said who, Johnny?
Pete Buttigieg.
Our partner, Fiorella Isabel, live on the ground, boots on the ground. How many months ago did she make a video talking about Pete Buttigieg?
9 months ago.
9 months ago, ladies and gentlemen. We saw this coming. CIA Pete, Mr. Spook Pete, Mayor Pete, not only does he have some baggage for what he's done as a mayor, he has a dark, dark history. He was an intelligence officer in the Navy. So once again, the updated results right now, as the DNC and Bernie Sanders was just making a speech. Johnny, what are the updated results?
We have Bernie leading with 26.2% of the votes. There's 62% of the precincts that were the first alignment, and the final alignment is 62.9%. And we can see here Sanders is leading 26.2%. Buttigieg is 25.1%. But CNN is still saying nothing. Squadouche saying Buttigieg still leads a tight race.
Ladies and gentlemen, later on tonight, we will be on to talk about what happened with Tim Canova after the State of the Union. You better believe it that Donald Trump was handed a gift last night, ladies and gentlemen, as he gets to further talk about more of the nefarious and corrupt actions of the DNC. They are making Donald Trump look right. They are aiding towards his reelection. And now, as far as I'm concerned, if they cheat Bernie one more time, it's walking time. I agree with one of our guests last night, Kim Iverson, when we said maybe we should start a third party
agree.
After. But if it happens again, it is walking time. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Bernie Sanders has taken the lead. You heard it here first. Bernie Sanders has taken the lead. However, we have to pay attention to the math and the delegate count, because from what I understand right now, Pete Buttigieg has been awarded more delegates, but we'll see which delegates that are allotted after these numbers come on in. Johnny Sue, you got anything else before we get on out?
No, hold on. Yeah, I got a couple things.
Things.
Buttigieg fucking declared victory 13 minutes ago. Tonight's results not only represent an astonishing victory for our movement, they validate the message of belonging that brought us here. He's already claiming victory with only 63% of the freaking precincts in here.
Yep. Show the video. Do you have a small video real quick? We always love to see Mayor Pete talk. Take a look.
Results are in from a majority of precincts, and they show our campaign in first place.
If you are live over at the Rockfin, thank you so much.
And
we see 5 of you on.
Our campaign in first place.
It's so funny, Johnny. Last night when I was making my notes before we went live, this is 2 nights ago, like I said, I was writing down positives and negatives for each person. I can't understand anybody who would vote for this guy. Who is voting for this guy?
Identity politics.
It's identity politics.
He's
number
a
one,
mayor.
virtue
He's a mayor.
signaling.
He's white.
He speaks well, but he never says anything. He's not clear on any policy. And once again, Johnny, we also have to put up what we asked him. Again, I asked Tulsi Gabbard the same question. Excuse me, she was asked, what are you going to do day one foreign policy-wise? She said she's going to sit down with Russia, China, ourselves, have a summit, denuclearize. You know what Pete Buttigieg said? To restore our values.
To restore America's value on the playing field.
Whatever it is. It's so stupid.
To restore respect or something.
We will show you those videos when we get a chance. Johnny, what else do you have here?
Right here. So this was at 4 p.m., right when at 3:55, the Des Moines Register updated. And at 4:05, this is what CNN comes out with.
More results. So we have 62%
10 minutes
of the vote
after.
in. So obviously more to go. But right now, Pete Buttigieg is in the lead with 26.9% of the state's delegates so far. Bernie Sanders in second, and it's a close second, 25.1. Elizabeth Warren, 18.3. And Joe Biden coming in fourth, 15.6% of the vote. Just moments ago, Buttigieg reacted to the news.
Okay, so what they're doing again, they're gaslighting us like crazy. They're telling all the mass amount of people that Buttigieg is the real winner, so they're going to remember that snapshot, and they're going to walk around thinking that this guy is an actual legit winner, which, like I said, I don't even know who the hell is freaking voting for them. I think we're done with Iowa being the first caucus. We should be done with Iowa. Iowa doesn't deserve anything. After last night's fiasco and seeing this shit, we got to start somewhere else.
Pasta. I keep updating the CNN website,
and it's still there.
Says Buttigieg leads a tight race.
What time?
It still has the.
What time did they update those results, Johnny? You said 3:55.
They've updated it again. They updated it at 3:55, and then let me see. I'm refreshing it right now. Bernie's still leading, except all the precincts stopped coming in again. As soon as Bernie took the lead, again
they stopped. They halt. That was at 3:55.
Last update, 4:28.
Okay.
So just 3 minutes ago.
That was another update, but they didn't change the numbers.
It didn't.
3:55, Bernie Sanders took the lead.
Hey, Tulsi Gabbard's got 12 over here.
Oh, she does. Look at that. Hey!
12 votes. Hey!
Trickling on in. Trickling on in.
Well, who's okay? According to these results, then Buttigieg is second, Warren is third,
Biden's fourth.
Biden's fourth, Klobuchar fifth.
If Klobuchar can catch Biden, it would really knock him out.
Andrew Yang got a 1% here.
Where's he got it?
He's fifth. He's in sixth place with 1%.
Look at that.
That's interesting.
How many votes total?
1,124.
That's not bad. Andrew Yang getting on the scoreboard.
Final alignment. First alignment went to 5,000. Here's where the really weird thing is. Bernie in the first alignment had the most votes.
Yeah.
And then after to the final alignment, somehow Buttigieg before was taking the lead.
Because they were very strategic about it. And once the other candidates
they
didn't
probably
reach
were like,
viability.
oh, it's all good to leave. And maybe what happened with the situation yesterday that Fiorella was at.
Yeah, they told them to leave, kind of discounted some of their votes, whatnot. We didn't know what was going on. We saw the captain screaming, going, not the captain, but the chair of the leader of the whole caucus saying, we have to call the state. We don't know what's going on. These people left. So sometimes I think when they're playing these games in these caucuses and trying to find little loopholes, like I said, once they get out of viability and they're spreading them up, the establishment is working together as a team to send people to certain places to lock in because they understand the math. Left and right. They understand the math left and right, and they play to their advantage with these caucuses. It's like when we talked to Shahid Buttar, and I said, Shahid, wouldn't this be the best way? Because people have to show up. You have to go around. I mean, you have to be participating, actually. Your body's there, and it's each precinct counts it in, so there's supposed to be no discrepancies. But like he said, there's all these little tricks and trades and these ways of these processes that have to go through.
Oh, my gosh.
And math.
CNN's not the only one.
The New York Times.
New York Times, again. Fuck out of here.
Here we are.
Buttigieg, again, leading.
Now the mainstream walking.
And we verified yesterday, New York Times got the same results from the Des Moines Register that we got.
They are not showing
They're
you
not
the results.
Updating it. They're not updating it.
All right. Anything else? Let's get out of here. We'll come back in a little bit and give you some updates, ladies and gentlemen. We want you to join on in. Hey, listen, if you're on the Rockfin, I got 6 people. We need more over here. And if you're on the YouTube, let me go over and say hi to you because where you at? There we are.
Look, NBC News with 62% Buttigieg leads, followed by Sanders, Warren, Biden.
We got 150 people watching on the YouTubes. We love you over there. Learn Hand, Josh Knorr, everybody out there. You guys are great.
They're still only showing Buttigieg on CNN.
They've had it updated for now.
How is
40 minutes.
How is this?
40 minutes since Sanders has taken the lead. Can we get our graph in with Bernie's face on it in first place?
Yeah, let me find
We'll
the
have to
graph.
do that later, guys, because we have to put that graph out there because, oh, my God. They are doing it, ladies and gentlemen. They are manufacturing consent for Pete the Spook Buttigieg. They're doing it, ladies and gentlemen. They are doing it. Is there anybody over on the YouTube on the Niko House's side? Guys, where you at? Here we are. 261 people watching. We love you over there. Guys, make sure you go over to the Rockfin if you can. Sign up for me and Niko's, the Convo Couch and Niko's Rockfin. But thank you guys so much for joining on in. Noah Wood, Annabelle Dahl, Mars Paluto. Can you guys believe this? Last night, Niko House, it was 1 o'clock in the morning when he came on with us for a second time when the news broke that they had their own app. Kudos to the Sanders campaign for sticking up for our democracy, not just watching their ass, but watching America's ass, the people's ass. But what the mainstream media doing right now, is dark. It's nefarious. It is really about some control shit. It's CIA tactics with their CIA candidate making CIA moves with their CIA app, Shadow, where he donates money to. This is ridiculous, people. We need to take to the streets if they pull this shit. I'm serious, Johnny. It's walking time if New Hampshire is cheating
100%. 100%.
Walking
100%
time.
agree.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
I gotta pull up this. I don't even think you saw this, Pasta.
Go ahead. Get on there.
The company that freaking Buttigieg invested in and what it says on their about page. What it says on their about page.
Get on that about page.
Insane. It's insane, dude. Hold on. Where is this?
Let me say hi. While you get, I'm going to say hi to some people over here. Guys, thank you so much. Rain Strom says Buttigieg equals Guaido. Bernie blackout again. Where's the uproar? Hey to you. Pete the amphibian assault unit. What a great one. Pete the CIA guy. 250, not 150. I don't know what you're talking about. Flipping them numbers. Mayor Pete. If Tulsi's not there, the establishment candidates attack Bernie.
We got Firepuff 12 on the line.
Did you pick that up? Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you all. This morning we woke up, we saw some of you guys hit our GoFundMe. We do appreciate that. And yesterday's 8-hour stream on Rockfin was a big success. We had 150 to 175 watchers the whole time. What's up, Firepuff? Sal Construct. So thank you guys for going on over there. They really help us out. People like me, Fiorella, Johnny, Tina, Niko. Rockfin takes care of us. That's why we are pushing that platform. They are growing. Right now, I got 8 people over there. I got 8. We love you. Christopher Gardner. It's got its own chat. If you haven't joined, guys, go over to our Rockfin and join. We're going to use that platform. They are improving. They are helping us out. And they are not censoring our voice. They're going to start censoring these videos. We finally got a video up there. They let us monetize yesterday, the one with Niko. I don't know why they haven't pulled it yet, but every single time, ladies and gentlemen, when Niko hits a really subject hard that they don't want his news to get out, they demonetize him. They do it to us. Help us out with the Rockfin, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you for your Super Chats. Thank you for your Patreons. Let me just say this to Mitch Osborne. Super Chat contribution is it always appreciated on the couch. Can you post the link to the updated results?
Already posted.
We posted it, okay? And guys, if you want to get updates from the mainstream media, they're still telling you that Buttigieg is in first place when we got it right here. Bernie Sanders, once again, Rockfin, Convo Couch, reports, has taken the lead. Bernie Sanders has taken the lead. One more thing about Shadow, Johnny. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is what I saw yesterday, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. So Shadow Inc. launched on 17th January 2019. Mayor Pete announced run for president on 23rd January. CEO of the company that owns Shadow tweets out her support. New CEO of Shadow worked for Hillary's campaign. Pete's campaign gives giant contributions to Shadow. This all reeks. Hashtag Iowa caucuses. So you can see here, Tara McGowan, the CEO of Shadow Company. She says here, We have acquired ground-based best CRM and SMS tool. I want to look into what the hell that means on the political market, along with their incredible team led by whoever that is, are launching Shadow, a new tech company to build smarter infrastructure for campaigns.
It was to stop the Russians, Johnny.
Here's her saying. Here's another tweet showing her Tara McGowan. Mayor Pete is running. Heart emoji eyes. Heart emoji eyes. Pete for America Inc. 2 donations. $21,000 to Shadow Inc. Look, Shadow Inc. Nevada State Democratic Party here.
Yeah. That's where they're going to use it again. And that's right around the corner. Somebody told me today, Pasta, they got the same mechanism they're going to use in Nevada. They're using the same type of...
In total, over $100,000 in contributions right there. And then, if you look at the new CEO, Shadow, look at that.
There it is.
Gerard Niemra. And then, hold on, is this the one that has it? Hold on, where is it? Their about page is like, what the, scary. Like, yeah,
we'll get the about page up.
Here it is. Shadow, meet the team. We are a campaign and blank, built and implemented technology at Hillary for America, Obama for America, Google, Kiva, Apple, the AFL-CIO. Our passion is to create a permanent advantage for progressive campaigns and causes through technology.
Yeah, well, Hillary and Obama doesn't equal campaigns. Can we get a little music coming in, and we're going to introduce Niko?
Let's go on break real quick.
We're going to go on a 2-minute break, and when we come back, we'll have Niko House in the house to talk about this more. We'll see you in a second.
Right now, from Get Your News On with Ron, it's Ron Placone, ladies and gentlemen.
Walking on with a guitar.
What's up, Portland? Thanks, buddy. All right. We got a little protest music for you right now. How's that sound? So this first one's a re-adaptation by, you guys know the legend Phil Oakes, I'd imagine, right? Yeah, some of you do.
Look at that.
He's the guy who, he described the American liberal, someone who is 10% to the left during the best of times, 10% to the right when it affects them personally. And we're seeing the remake of that today, you know, blue no matter who will protect my tax brackets, so... So if you know this one, sing along. We revamped it a little bit. I cried when they shot Michael Brown. A chill ran down my spine. And I cried when they shot Tamir Rice. Was like I lost a child of mine. But Colin Kaepernick's just disrespectful. And most of the cops are just fine. So love me, love me, love me. I'm a liberal. You guys get it. My president's Barack Obama. The entire country adored. He brought us our hope and our change. And 30 million left uninsured. And I don't care about fracking or drone strikes, 'cause that ain't gonna happen next door. So love me, love me, love me. I'm a liberal. Now I vote for the Democratic Party, 'cause they have the better deal. And I have lots of love for the Clintons. Always have and I always will. And we need to believe all women unless it's about Biden or Bill. So love me, love me, love me, I'm a liberal. Now I used to be young and impulsive, but I'm not that way anymore. I've read everything by Marx and by Chomsky, even listened to Jimmy Dore. But I've grown older and wiser. Haven't I blocked you on Twitter before? So love me, love me, love me, I'm a liberal.
Welcome back to the Convo Couch's live coverage of the 2020 Democratic primaries. The Iowa caucus was last night. It was a crazy night surrounded by nefarious actions from the DNC, but backup plans by the Sanders campaign. As we get results today, we are hearing more as they are trickling in. The mainstream media is up to their old tricks as they will not announce Bernie has taken the lead. With us back today on the couch, you know him well, a good friend of the fam. Niko House is here to talk more about what's going on. How you doing, Niko House?
What's going on, fellas? How you doing?
Good. I don't know how long I can keep this energy up for, but I'm going to continue to do it until these results are done. Then I'll go back to regular pasta. But until now, we got to get this excitement out there.
I honestly thought this was regular pasta. I honestly really felt like this is regular pasta. I'm kind of scared now. Kind of scared that you don't know that there's no distinction between regular pasta and high energy pasta. You need to get that checked out.
Well,
but
inside it's different. But what's really scary is what happened last night, Niko. I was so happy and proud of us to have the boots on the ground, to report everything we did, to do an 8-hour stream on this network right here to bring live, honest coverage instead of the mainstream media. But, Niko, they're at it again. They're dirty tricks.
I mean, we kind of saw this coming, right? This is what's funny. It kind of sucks being me sometimes. I notice the weird stuff that nobody else would notice. So you know that Bernie Sanders put out a newsletter that said that with 60% reporting, they could confidently say that they have a comfortable lead and that they're looking like they're going to win Iowa. So what does the establishment do? Well, you know, actually with 62% reporting, it looks like Buttigieg is exactly 2% ahead. Those 2 points, 2 percentage points, it's a big difference, Pasta. It's a big difference. And we had to make sure we couldn't stop at 60, because if you stop at 60%, that's a disservice to the people. And Bernie's already given us the 60%. So we want to do our part as the establishment and give y'all that extra 2%. And lo and behold, I mean, that's the difference. That explains everything. The 2% difference. And that's exactly what they're going to tell us, right? Because they're trying to convince us that Buttigieg has what, 1.5%, almost 2% more as far as the delegates are concerned. They're anointing him as the winner. CNN is actually airing his victory speech, which is absolutely absurd. 60% is not even, and Bernie, being as humble as he is, listen, we're doing well right now, but how can we declare victory when the final results aren't it?
Yeah. The scary thing is, Niko, is the pictures they take. Because a lot of people are so busy and consumed with life. They weren't into this like we were into this last night. And the fact alone that they got all these people to walk out there like zombies to vote for Buttigieg, because like I said, my hardest homework getting ready for the show was trying to come up with genuine reasons to vote for and positives about Pete Buttigieg.
I got some bad news for you, man.
What's that?
You know how I feel about Kendrick Lamar? I'm not a Kendrick Lamar fan, right?
Yeah, you're more Drake.
I'm more of a Drake fan.
More of a Drake guy.
More of a Drake fan because I'm a proponent of what Jay-Z said. He said, just because they don't understand you don't mean you nice, right? And he was actually talking about Nas at the time. But specifically regarding Kendrick Lamar, there are a lot of dumb motherfuckers who love Kendrick Lamar just because he sounds smart. He ain't saying shit really if you really, really listen to him. Like The Pimp a Butterfly was a horrible album, but everybody thought it was great. Oh man, all the white kids in my old college loved it, man. They were like, oh man, it's about black issues and black. I'm like, this album sucks. What do it's a bunch of platitudes and woulda, coulda, shouldas, and that is Pete Buttigieg. There are a lot of dumb caucus who think that Pete Buttigieg is legitimately intelligent. Not even joking. But at the end of the day, he gives off the Obama vibe. But I want to be very clear about something. I cannot stress this enough. Pete Buttigieg is not Obama. Obama was
said this
much
yesterday.
more intelligent. Yeah, he's much more intelligent, much more savvy, and could carry a Democratic Party to beat Donald Trump if he wanted to, right? That's not Buttigieg. It's not. So that's why I think that you saw a little bit more action for Buttigieg, because the platitudes make some people who don't necessarily understand, I feel like, for example, Tulsi's like a high intellectual. She's just really high impact intellectual. And sometimes that doesn't resonate with the working class, if I'm being honest. Yeah. But if you hear somebody who's like using super platitudes like Buttigieg knows how to do.
Yes. He's well rehearsed. He's I mean, that's the thing about Buttigieg. He's not the smartest guy, but he's so well rehearsed that when you ask him a question, he can give you the best looking, sounding, smelling like Hawaiian beautiful spray horse shit. That doesn't, I mean, he's the only guy that can say 1,000 words and not have one thing to actually of meaning to say. And he even did that when we asked him that question. And the scary thing is, Niko, is that the everyday people who are out of the bubble are going to see that number in lights, that he's got the lead over Bernie Sanders, and they're going to try to jump on his freaking train.
Well, I truly believe that is what this show has always been about. Let's be honest. I do believe that Bernie's team is there. I do believe that for some reason Bernie felt comfortable enough to fly out to Iowa, by himself or with his staff, but leave some of the people behind, knowing that at the end of all this, right? It's only 62% reporting. At the end of all this, Bernie Sanders will have the lead. But people forget, in Iowa in 2016, they were declaring that Hillary Clinton was the victor until like 3-4 in the morning. Then you wake up the next day, it's like, hold up, they tied? But that wasn't reported like it should have been. It was Hillary Clinton is the victor, and then they just pretended like Iowa would never happen. A lot of people forget that. So what we're seeing right now is they're gonna saturate the news cycle with Buttigieg is the victor, Buttigieg is the victor, going into New Hampshire, Buttigieg is the victor, switch your vote, Buttigieg, he came from behind, Buttigieg. But really, and to be honest with you, and there's not any offense to Bernie's campaign, but it shouldn't be whether Bernie's the victor. It shouldn't be whether Buttigieg is the victor. It should be, how the fuck are we taking results from an application from a company that Buttigieg just gave $42,000 to? That's the goddamn story.
Exactly. And you know something, Niko? They also have the State of the Union tonight, so they can pivot right to that. Go right to Trump. Look at this guy. He's, you know what I'm saying? And then they got the impeachment vote. So now they can swing all the attention away from what's really going on in Iowa, make Trump the enemy again. And meanwhile, really, to tell you the truth, Niko, Trump is laughing all the way to freaking New Hampshire right now at this point, because the Democrats just keep on
Nancy
looking
Pelosi
so bad.
would say he's laughing all the way to Russia.
He's laughing all the way to Putin. By the way, we got 18 people on the Rockfin. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining the Rockfin. This is really important to the MCSC family and the Convo Couch that you join Rockfin. They really take care of us, the content creators. They don't suppress our voice, so we really need it. But we also love all the people. There's tons of people right now, hundreds of people on the YouTube. We appreciate you joining us, but make sure you get on over to Rockfin. Niko has a GoFundMe. I have a GoFundMe. Get us to New Hampshire to cover some more nefarious acts. Niko, what do you expect in New Hampshire? You said it today. If Tulsi Gabbard comes ahead of Pete Buttigieg, that helps Bernie Sanders. Does it not?
Yeah, 100%. If Tulsi gets ahead of Pete Buttigieg, which I actually think will happen, the people who are on the ground in New Hampshire right now have said they've seen nothing but Tulsi signs and Bernie signs. They said actually they see more Amy Klobuchar signs in the wealthier areas of New Hampshire than anything else.
What?
I know. Well, it's kind of, I mean, Amy Klobuchar might beat Joe Biden in Iowa, so she
That's what I'm saying. That's important there. That's big.
So that's great for us, by the way. That's fantastic for us. But,
for all you who don't know, Amy Klobuchar is right on Joe Biden's tail. That's what Niko's referring to. Maybe Johnny can put it up real quick. Niko, can you tell us about the ramifications if that happens?
So if Amy Klobuchar passes Biden in Iowa, then, I mean, his campaign is basically over right now, just being in fourth place. But if Amy Klobuchar passes him, it just obliterates Biden. And you might actually see him drop out before South Carolina or Nevada.
I was going to say,
isn't
South Carolina his saving grace?
However, here's the caveat. We don't want Biden to drop out before South Carolina and Nevada. We don't want that because then the establishment will fully coalesce behind Pete Buttigieg. Then we have an entirely different issue on our hand. We need Biden to get beat in New Hampshire, but we need him to be Amy Klobuchar, as silly as it sounds. I don't know if it'll happen, though, to be honest with you. We also need Biden to stay in Nevada. We need him to be we need him to be Buttigieg in Nevada, silly as it sounds. But I am saying all that confidently because I know that Bernie is going to just destroy everybody in South Carolina, and I don't think it'll be close. I do not think it'll be close. It's an open primary state dominated by the black vote in which Bernie Sanders overwhelmingly wins.
Yeah.
So I think that Bernie is going to and Nina, I got all the faith in the world in Nina. Nina said she made it happen, and she made it happen. I think that Nina went over there and won South Carolina for Bernie Sanders. Now, if Tulsi wins or finishes top 2 in New Hampshire, then it will likely be a pretty solid victory. And I think that she's going to do much better there. Obviously, I don't trust the polling. I think that these are establishment polls, right? So generally, the candidates in an open primary state, independent heavy, like New Hampshire, they will outperform based off of whatever the poll is saying. And we really shouldn't be taking polls seriously because these are the same polls that have been telling us for the last, year and some change that Joe Biden is a fucking front runner and he's finishing 4th place.
Maybe
everybody
5th.
wants to, maybe even 5th, right? When all the reporting is said and done. So we can't take these things seriously because it's like you got to rip them up and throw them in the air. They already said 1/3 of Iowa and New Hampshire voters had not made up their mind heading into Iowa. So how the hell do you declare a front runner? How the hell are we, basing who gets on the debate stage off of these polls that were clearly inaccurate?
Exactly.
So when we get to New Hampshire, now we have to wonder. Now, in an open primary state where Yang won't have his issues because there are people on the ground, which I'm going to be reporting on later on this evening, they were having issues. They weren't even allowed to vote. They were coming into the building, not allowed to vote. The precinct captains were getting sent home saying they weren't allowed to be precinct captains. It was a shit show for the Yang company as well. We can't forget about that. So you got Tulsi, who clearly saw the play on the field. And she's like, I'm not even wasting my goddamn money there.
Yeah.
I'm going to have all my people in a state where I at least know one of the outsiders can win.
Yep.
So, and Tulsi has so many people, so many eyes on the ground, so much of her staff there. It'll be probably similar to how Bernie was monitoring Iowa, but with more consolidated resources in a much smaller state, but with a significant amount of delegates, 33 delegates available. So, and then you combine that with Bernie, who outperformed his polls in 2016 when the entire establishment was united against him. He still obliterated Hillary. So now you have the entire establishment split up between Biden, Buttigieg, Klobuchar. And then you have some of the independent votes split up. But because there are so many independents in New Hampshire, more so than in Iowa and other states, that leaves Bernie, Tulsi, and Yang in a much better position than it does Biden, Buttigieg, and Klobuchar. They'll be splitting up a smaller allocation of votes and delegates because the independents run New Hampshire, not the Democrats.
Well, let's talk about that for a second because I think a lot of people don't realize that, and I know it's a Republican primary, but John Huntsman did nothing in Iowa because he spent most of his time in New Hampshire, and he actually won New Hampshire, and he won in a pretty decent way. After that gave him enough gas to get him down the road about 3 or 4 primaries before he eventually dropped out. Now, my question to you is if, Tulsi, who is really looking good that she can finish second in New Hampshire. I mean, a lot of people don't realize that, but, Iowa picks corn, New Hampshire picks presidents, and we know this.
That's true.
But if she does win second place, then she goes to South Carolina, and I don't know if she's going to do well over there.
She goes to Nevada first, and I don't know if she'll do well in Nevada, but I think she'll do well in South Carolina.
My question to you, Niko, is what is her plan for, I don't necessarily say to victory, but to stay in it a little longer? What states can she then get into and battle to keep herself relevant in this primary?
Well, the real question is, where can she control her momentum, right? 'Cause I think that's more important than the states that she can win, if that makes sense. So what I mean by that is, if Tulsi, gets 1 delegate in New Hampshire, let alone win second place, she's on the debate stage going forward. And I think every debate basically after that, because it's hard to argue against that, because getting one delegate in Iowa actually secured you on the debate stage for the next 2 debates. So she already meets it. They got rid of the donation threshold, which she would easily meet. Now, if she wins or places top 2 in New Hampshire, she's on the debate stage. And while the entire world is paying attention and is now making their decisions as to who they're going to work or vote for, who they're going to campaign for, who they're going to donate to, she has a different trajectory. I would even say Yang even has a different trajectory than the rest of the candidates. And the reason why is because the world has not yet heard Tulsi Gabbard's message. I know we kind of live in this political bubble where, yeah, progressive YouTube discusses it, the neoliberals on CNN discuss it, but a lot of people don't even pay attention to them. Yeah. But there is a huge portion, less than one, I'll repeat this over and over again, less than 1/3 of voters in New Hampshire and Iowa had their number one choice locked in, less than 1/3. So imagine what the rest of the country is looking at right now. That is why they're working so hard to rig Iowa, right? Yeah. And capture that momentum going into New Hampshire. So if she ends up in these debates, she's still going to do what Tulsi does, calling out a rigged process, talking about regime change wars, talking about her off act, talking about, South America, talking about Iran, talking about the impeachment, saying that I offered to censure first. And they told me I was crazy. Now they're talking about censoring. Like all the things that she might take out Buttigieg. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. We already seen that Tulsi can do damage once she gets that spotlight. And now there are more people waiting to see who emerges in that spotlight now more than ever. And I think that's where her strength lies.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we have 25 people in climbing on the Rockfin. If you haven't gone over to the Rockfin, please do so. It really helps us out. Niko, I have another question. This is another good one right here. Last night in the primary in Iowa, Donald Trump got a ton of votes. I thought a big portion of that might have reserved the right to go over and vote for a libertarian-minded person like a Yang, like a Tulsi, but they chose not to do so. And what I see is there's a big sense of Trump or bust, that they love him so much that they will not even go Democrat
they can't do
for
that,
one day.
They can't do that. They had to be registered Republican, so they couldn't switch in the middle of the caucus.
In Iowa, you can switch before you go in, you can switch your party.
Before you go in.
Yeah.
But not.
But that's the thing. They chose not to. Do you see this in New Hampshire, this love for Trump affecting the libertarian and independent vote there? Or do you think the voter in New Hampshire is going to say, no, I'm going to go and vote a non-establishment party on either side?
I'll say no, because New Hampshire is truly independent. And when you look at the fact that Bernie handily won the independents, the conservative-leaning independents in 2016, the left-leaning independents, I think that it's a little bit different because they don't have to make a registration changing decision in order to vote for one party over another. You don't have to become a Democrat to choose a Democrat.
I know.
Which I know it seems weird, but that's actually it's
people can't do it, Niko. They have a hard time in Middle America going.
Can you blame them?
I don't care. I'm not going to Democrat.
Can you blame them though? You might not have a registration tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I know.
So let's be honest. It's realistic for them to be skeptical about.
So New Hampshire's easier, is what you're saying too. Being in an open primary, you don't have to change your affiliation. We can count on getting some of that vote. Yeah.
Exactly. And there have just been so many conservative-leaning independents that have been very open about their support for Tulsi Gabbard and how it's not even that they don't support it. They're like, Trump already has it. So let's see if we can give Trump somebody to run against that we can actually figure out who's the real deal. I know it's crazy, but it's the logic that a lot of people have been talking about. Like Tulsi's talked about it. I've talked to Trump supporters who said the same thing. They want to see who's the real deal out of Tulsi Gabbard and Donald Trump. Now, I got to be clear about this. There are a lot of Trump supporters who feel the same way about Bernie. They usually trend older for Bernie, but same thing. There are a lot of people who still feel they want to see who's the real deal between Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump when the metal meets the road. And so I think that, like I said, Tulsi and Bernie are in a very weirdly unique position in New Hampshire. And if you don't look at the polls, bro, you can look at them if you want to know. Like, if what have I always said? I said if Bernie is polling, at this amount, it's probably because he's actually polling 10 to 15 points higher. They've said that Bernie was doing, that Biden was beating Bernie by sometimes 10, 11, 12 points in Iowa. What happened? He ended up beating Biden by that much. So when we're looking at New Hampshire, a state that he has already won, oh man. And if that is the barometer, then you got to look at the people who are most similar to Bernie, not the ones who are most similar to the clear loser of New Hampshire in 2016 and anybody associated with her.
Niko, we just looked at the updated results again. Guess what? They are not updated. And when Bernie Sanders takes the lead, this is the second time now, they just halt the numbers coming in. Johnny, what do you got for us over here real quick as an update? And by the way, somebody on your, out of the 400 people that are on your YouTube, Donald Smead says, Mayor Pete is just a Macron for America.
I think he's worse. He's worse than Macron. He's a Macron with the red button that can use it whenever the hell he wants to. That's worse. And Pete's a psycho. Like, that boy scares me. Yeah. He don't scare me. Like, if I met him one-on-one, you know. He can't be the president, bro. He's not even 6 foot tall. Get out of here.
You see the way he walks? The way he walks makes it like Johnny thinks he's like a Vembot or a machine that he's being controlled or has a probe up his ass or something because he can't even walk normal and stuff. It was like, hey, yeah, Johnny, what do you got?
Go ahead, Johnny.
So what we're seeing here is that they still haven't updated it, even though it says updated as of 5:03 p.m., which was 2 minutes ago. We still see the same percentages in the final alignment and in the first alignment. Bernie is leading in both of those, but somehow Buttigieg has more delegate equivalents. And I think, as we were talking about on the Combo Couch chat on YouTube, well, Tony watches closely. He watched closely, and he saw the coin tosses. I think the coin tosses gave...
Are throwing him in... Yeah, I was going to say that.
Buttigieg more delegates, even though Bernie has more votes.
Yeah. You can see the delegate
there's
equivalent.
Already 3 recorded coin flips. Here's what's even... Y'all, I'm not a mathematician. I'm really not. But think about the probability of this. First of all, I mean, in 2016, they said even one coin flip was massive. Like, because I think that's like a rarity in the Iowa caucuses. They had 6 coin flips. It all went to Hillary.
Yep, okay, Bernie lost all 6.
And that's insane. Like Richard Sharnon did a probability of that, and it was insane. It was like 1 billion to 1 that could happen. Yeah. Now, we're in a different time where just from the 3 coin flips that we have recorded, not only did Buttigieg get a coin flip against Bernie, but then he got a coin flip against Warren, and then a coin flip against Amy Klobuchar.
Yeah.
What are the odds that you are involved in all of the 3 recorded coin flips that we have available so far, and then you win all of them?
It's almost like those things. Bill Belichick has beaten every single team in the league one time. Bernie Sanders is the only one to have to face every single one of the Democrats that ran for president in a coin flip 5 times. It's like he's faced everybody in a coin flip, and it's ridiculous. And the fact is, I don't remember him winning one of them.
No, he never wins them. And what they do is they take the coin, and what they do is they kind of like play the civility card, right? Because if you snap on them, they're going to make it like you're representing Bernie's campaign. You're trying to, you're just trying to muddy the waters. And nobody's even talking about the fact that Joe Biden is threatening a lawsuit against the Democratic Party right now in Iowa. Like,
I think that was a bunch of noise to cover face, don't you?
Of course it was.
I mean, come on.
But that's what they try and claim Bernie does or Tulsi does. Like, if we blow the whistle on the rigging, then we're just trying to save face because we're making excuses for losing.
Yes.
Even though, once again, we literally have a guy who paid for the company that created that. But that's a different discussion. But when Biden does it, they just kind of, it's not a big deal. He's not trying to split the vote up. He's not being divisive.
Niko, let's take a look at the mainstream media. I'm going to read 2 super chats. Let's think about it. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to check the mainstream media and see if they have updated the results. While Johnny gets that going, on the Combo Couch YouTube, Sobeski, just joined. What's the latest? Was the fraud exposed? Yeah, Niko and I, we exposed the fraud late night on television last night. Learn Hand, thank you for the super chat contribution. As it is always, preach it on the couch. That was for you, Fiorella. We need to be discussing a general strike. If we want to fix democracy in the states, then it has to come from the bottom up. If we can't have democracy, then we need to shut the economy down. Says
I
Learn
agree.
Hand.
Yes, because guess what's the biggest means of production in any country? In any country, it's the people. They control the production in a country. And if everybody went on strike, You can bet your ass that.
I got a great idea. How about everybody don't watch mainstream media, just watch independent media. Let's stick it to them. Let's go to platforms like Rockfin that take care of their content creators and don't suppress our voices. We got 31 people over there. That is awesome, guys. We love you. Johnny, what do you got for me and Niko? He's dying to see them updated the results. Bernie Sanders is in the lead.
Yeah, right.
They still haven't updated.
I might be dying for a long time.
They're going based on the delegates. So total.
Show this now.
Total. This is New York Times, of course. It's updated. They still have Buttigieg leading. They're going based off of the delegates. Buttigieg has 30 or 25 more delegates than Sanders.
What? Hold up. What? There are only 41 delegates.
Yeah, that's the. They're the same. There's 10
the
delegates
state,
to the right. That number.
Okay.
Yeah. They're talking about like the
delegate
SEs,
equivalents. Sorry, my bad.
No, it's okay.
I just had to make sure I wasn't crazy. I was about to flip.
They're the delegate equivalents is what they're called.
CNN still hasn't updated.
What about the TV show? What do they got this? Are they showing that?
No,
and it's the great thing is they come up with that fugazi math and flash it in front of your face. Now, when you look at that number and you look at it at face value, it looks like Pete Buttigieg is winning. But yet, in the initial count, the first count, and the second count, Bernie Sanders has a much higher number. You know what I'm saying? Literally.
What's interesting is that also, if you've noticed, Bernie is winning in the popular areas, the more saturated areas of Iowa, right? Like in Des Moines, in Buttigieg, is seemingly winning that small caucuses where a lot of people aren't showing up. And so it's kind of, people aren't going to go there with the camera. So you can get away with a lot more because it's just very difficult for me to believe, bro. I don't know if you saw that map. There's a lot of goddamn green on that map.
No. I know. I see it.
I'm like, really? Really, bro? So the areas that were highly saturated had a bunch of cameras. That seemed always the case, right? Where they couldn't readily cheat without being caught. All of a sudden, though, that goes to Sanders. And I would even say that Yang has even done well in those areas, better than he expected even. And then the areas where nobody can check him, Buttigieg wins all of them. It's not a coincidence, bro.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have 466 people watching on the MCSC YouTube. Get over to that Rockfin. Glory Jones, Super Chat contribution says, I don't even want to be a Democrat, and I'm only registered to vote for Tulsi, especially with that slimy stuff they pulled with Pete Guaido. What a lab-made douchebag, says Glory Jones. We love our Glory Jones.
That boy dangerous. 213 endorsements from the intelligence community. 213 with zero foreign policy experience.
By the way, Super Chat contribution from Micah Kane says, cheat's gonna Pete. Am I right? And also, Learn Hands, we already got yours. Thank you so much for that Super Chat contribution. Sobeski says, the original app tracked fraud is not exposed. And even if Sanders wins and doesn't expose the fraud, that means he's compromised as well. What do you got for that, Niko?
I mean, he would, in order for him to win, clearly he might have to expose fraud. But I think that the cross tabulations, how their numbers are showing something different than, Buttigieg's numbers, that in and of itself shows that Bernie's app is doing exactly what you said it is doing. Now, it should be mentioned too, though, Nevada's not using that app. That's breaking news from earlier today, by the way.
They're not going to use it now?
They made announcements and they're not going to use that app. So
Thank
Bernie
God.
already achieved, people keep if he didn't make that app, y'all think that this is bad. We would be looking at 31% to Buttigieg, maybe 25, 26% to Bernie. Yeah. That's what we'd be looking at now.
No doubt. And let me tell you something. The Nevada Democratic Party now has to speak for all the money they wasted on that shadow app because they wasted a ton of money and they gave that company a lot of money.
I asked for a refund.
I know, no shit. Ladies and gentlemen, we're just keeping you up to par. Bernie Sanders has now taken the lead as far as delegate count, first alignment. Excuse me, not the delegate count, but the first alignment and the second alignment. He has the final alignment. He has a clear, sizable number advantage. The mainstream media isn't reporting that. We think the coin flips, the Fugazi coin flips, might have put the delegate lead the equivalent delegate lead for Buttigieg over the top. Right now, there have been 20 total delegates allotted, 10 to Sanders, 10 to Buttigieg, and we're waiting on more results. However, the mainstream media is keeping it down. Last night on the Rockfin stream, Niko House came on. We broke the news. The Bernie Sanders campaign had their own in which the captains reported back, so they had their own internal numbers. Nina Turner released it last night on Twitter, and Jeff Weaver was demanding results come through quickly. So here we are today, still waiting for the mainstream media to trickle in the results. They're making it look like Buttigieg win. I'm here with Niko House discussing what went on and what's going to happen in New Hampshire. Niko, what's the next move for the Sanders campaign?
Well, I just got a question. I'm just trying to understand, why are you stopping at 62%?
Yes. Why are they stopping at 62%?
Why? Because you did, like, traditionally, Iowa has all of their results traditionally. And I still am under the impression, just me, that the reason that they had to call the Sanders campaign in was because Bernie caught them, right? And their results were so disparate that they had to kind of weigh them against Bernie's to figure out what we can get away with and what we cannot get away with as far as reporting is concerned. Because once again, ladies and gentlemen, 60% Bernie, like, that's what Bernie's put out. It said 60%, this is where we're at. Okay. Then Bernie released another statement, same thing, 60%. This is what we believe we have. And then they just released 62% and stop whenever we know for a fact all the reporting is there. They're just not releasing the results because it's 8 o'clock Eastern right now. So 7 o'clock Central. What the hell are you doing? How are you releasing 60% if you haven't even reconciled the rest of the damn votes? And I would be interested to see, because which would be difficult, very, very, very difficult math, admittedly. But when you have a situation like what happened with Fiorella, right, where we know that Bernie had 101 people, and then Buttigieg had 66, and yet somehow there still ended up being a coin flip to give Buttigieg another delegate. How would the math work with the totals where Buttigieg seemingly getting delegates in places he couldn't possibly be getting more delegates in or getting that amount of delegates in because he just doesn't have enough people there? Like, it just mathematically, it doesn't work. So they're either lying about the total, lying about the necessity for a coin flip, or both. So that would be interesting to see as well, because as we saw last night with just precinct 80, and I saw it once again, 2 other videos. Like I almost felt bad for the Warren lady, because she was confused. She was like, well, what do I say? How can you, if you show yourself, they're going to make it about a Warren, participant acting a fool because she's losing. If you don't, then you just let them get away with stealing your precinct and the delegate. Yeah. So they put you in this catch-22.
They do. They paint you into a corner. Niko, on your Super Chat contributions on the MCSE network, this is interesting. I can't read the name because it's written in a different language, but it says you guys should be paying close attention to who it looks like has less than 15%. Iowa rules say they have to hand over their delegate equivalents to someone with more than 15%. And thank you for the Super Chat contribution.
No, they don't have to. They don't have to. They can just walk.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't have to. They don't have to give them to anybody, and nor do the delegates have to go there. Like, they can choose to not do shit. It's their choice. Horse trading is a thing, though, so you might actually see that come into play at the convention.
Yes.
Like, not even necessarily being announced right now, because they're just holding those delegates in the holster and then telling them, "Hey, this is where I want you to go."
Yes. Aurelius Prime, thank you for the Super Chat contribution. By the way, Niko, you have over 500 people watching the MCSE network on your YouTube. We have almost 300 watching. We have over 34 watching on our Rockfin, and we have over 30 watching on our Facebook. We are getting great numbers. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning in.
Hey, Facebook people, what the hell y'all doing? Y'all better get off of Facebook. That's just a CIA database. Get out of there, yo. Stop playing on Facebook. Niko,
we got some older crowd over there that want to. Oh, I'm just kidding, Rocky Bellinger. I'm just kidding, baby. I wasn't talking about you. Rocky B. I was joking, but go over to the Rockfin. Rocky's on Rockfin. Rocky Road, baby. Aurelius Prime says, Aloha. Please add your signature to Tulsi's CNN New Hampshire Town Hall petition. She'll be doing a press conference on site at the first event tomorrow. Let's get her to 50,000 signatures. Thank you so much, Aurelius Prime. Mitch Osborne, thank you for the Super Chat contribution. He says, tell Niko My bad for trying to set him up on status quo. Did you guys see the coin flip of the dude who catches it in his hand and then he looks at it and kind of spins it, smells it, feels it, kisses it, and then says, "Oh, tails."
Yeah, exactly what he did. Yeah, I saw it. That was the Warren one.
We saw that, my friends. We saw that. All right, Niko, you got anything else before we get on out of here? Before we get more fake news coming in from the mainstream media over here that Buttigieg is the real winner?
I do want to just say, I want to give a quick shout out to Fee because she said something on Twitter that I think we should absolutely acknowledge. She said, "Let's stop calling this incompetence."
Oh, yeah.
Stop
Niko, Johnny, grab that up. Yeah.
Yeah, please do. She's like, let's stop calling it incompetence. What we're seeing is out and out rigging.
Yeah.
And it's 100% true. Like at the end of the day, even if Bernie won, that would be a huge story, but that story would only be second to the fact that we were even considering accepting results from an app where the company was given $42,000 and the software is proprietary. So none of us can even check it, even if we wanted to.
Yep.
Even, you know what it would, like a court couldn't even require it. You know that, right?
I know,
Like
because it's intellectual property.
Mm-hmm.
This is terrible. Listen, we need to stop outsourcing our elections on every level. If we use an app, it's got to be open source. If we use a machine, it has to be open source. And I don't even know, Niko, if I'm sold on open source by itself, because I think at the end of the day, I'd like to see hand count ballots.
No, you got to do both. You got to do both. You got to
There's
run
gotta be a
hand counted
backup.
ballots. You got to run hand counted ballots with the person as a backup through open source blockchain, because what we want to do is not only prevent it, but if someone tries, we want to be able to track them and see exactly where they did it. And that's what blockchain allows for, because you can't, once that chain is created, you can't break it. So if somebody even tries to hack, we get to track them all the way back to where the hack originated. So that's why it's also important.
And that's another reason right here. We don't even have open source in California, right? In LA. It's not a complete open source. They haven't released the open code. We made them retract Mr. Padilla, Alex Padilla, the Clinton superdelegate who ran the election last time against Bernie Sanders. We made him retract his statement about open source. The open source community did that, and he had to retract his statement. Okay, so now we have an election coming up.
They created open source without releasing the open source code. Really?
Yeah, no shit. That's
by
definition. By definition, Alex Padilla. And not only that, they've eliminated the precincts. They have these voting centers. So now they've eliminated an area where the activists can go and check, where they can track you back down to which precinct, to make sure they can verify you were there. They've eliminated that. They have a closed source primary. Anywhere you can be, it's going to be a cluster F in Los Angeles. This is going to be a hot spot. They're going to try to steal it here against Bernie Sanders.
Los Angeles is going to be ugly. And this is why I said we cannot keep allowing the manufacturing of consent. We have to uplift our allies, because the infrastructure that Bernie put together to protect himself in Iowa was absolutely necessary. We need double that in New Hampshire. We can't afford to lose New Hampshire. We literally, as a movement, cannot afford it. We really can't even afford New Hampshire to be close. Right? I said, from our first place, the progressive first place, with the establishment third or fourth place, it can't be close going into Nevada, because we're in another caucus situation right after New Hampshire. We saw the motherfucking chairs were thrown the last fucking Nevada caucus. Okay? Like, let's not pretend like this shit's about to be sweet, because it's not. Then we got South Carolina, but then we found out in 2016, it was very easily rigged for Hillary in South Carolina. So we don't, and now granted, boy, it's hard to rig. You're going to convince the country, the whole country that Buttigieg got more than 1% of the black vote in South Carolina. I don't know about that, dog. I don't know about that. But
I like the way they put 4 women of color behind him yesterday in the shot when he was doing his victory speech.
Yeah, one woman of color. They probably picked her out of the damn crowd.
That's all they care about.
Yeah, that's why Trump used to put all the black women behind him when he's giving speeches. They're the only
shit.
Black women in the whole damn building. Yeah, same thing.
On the MCSC network, 515 people watching. Glory Jones is one of them, and she left a super chat. Thank you for the super chat contribution, Glory Jones, as it is always appreciated on the couch. I think now is a great time for Fee to do that podcast with Neera Tanden. What do you say, Niko? Can we make a phone call and get Neera in the house?
Man, shit. I'm gonna call my boy Justin Jackson. Maybe he can get her, because she knows Justin because she blocked his ass. So,
What's up?
Neera
donated to our GoFundMe.
Oh yeah, Neera Tanden donated to our GoFundMe $10. Thank you, Neera Tanden, for sending the Convo Couch out to New Hampshire.
Who did that? Who over here trolling,
network.
Who trolling?
Somebody just like they said. And guys, go over. We have some GoFundMes. This is for our work so we can get on location. We're going to go track the fuckery. You saw what Fiorella did yesterday. She actually stumbled in, and then she chose that one with Tina Desiree into the caucus that had the first coin flip of the night that wasn't a necessary coin flip. Gabby Vargas also says they won't release the other 38% until after the New Hampshire primary. They want to end his momentum.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. I 100% agree. I've been saying that from the beginning. Like, they know he won, but it is not people. And this is what kills me about people who are arguing with me. They're like, oh, you don't know how to do math. Bernie doesn't need any help. We need everybody to get behind him. Okay, when we don't control the results and the way they flow, when we can't control to a certain degree how much the establishment decides to cheat. We can't control when they release the results. It is not a zero-sum game. It is about optics, and the optics need to be that Bernie and progressives are winning the narrative. They're winning the momentum. And now let's be real. And I've talked about this often. Is it did Bernie really care about 2-3 delegates from Iowa? Do you think he really gives a shit about that? Like, in the grand scheme? No. Fuck no. Bro, he's about to just go and obliterate California. Even with the rigging, he's still going to win. Like, it's not going to be close. He understands that it is not a zero-sum game. It's a game of momentum. And that is the important thing. And if we didn't fuck ourselves by attacking outsider progressives who are not taking corporate money, who are fighting for climate change and things like that, we would be in much better shape in Iowa. I will say that. We wouldn't have won by any means. Look, 2, 3, 4, 5 delegates, more people willing to put in efforts and resources on the ground that they just said, fuck it, we're not dealing with it. Like, we would have been in much better shape. But because of the smearing, people online peddling in smear, like somebody was literally physically assaulted because they had on a Tulsi button and they weren't even participating in the caucus.
Yeah.
Well, it will make you a pariah for
Niko,
supporting some of these candidates.
We can't stand behind an Assad apologist. What are you talking about?
There you go. Most of these motherfuckers in Iowa have no idea what the hell Syria is on a map, ladies and gentlemen. So, like, we gotta be careful about how we handle our business going forward, because if we don't recognize who our allies are, if we don't recognize who our adversaries are, trust me, the adversaries, they know who their adversaries. They know who we are. Yep. But we on the left seemingly still have this issue where we can't discern. Well, not me, and not damn sure not the network, but a lot of people, they can't discern who's in it for themselves, who like Warren, and who's in it, and it's just a little bit different in how they go about their business, but they're in it for the movement, like Tulsi. Like, even with Yang, say what you want to about Yang. If everything was equal between Warren and Yang, I know that Warren voted for Bernie and endorsed Bernie in 2016, and he acknowledged rigging. If that is the only difference, that is better than what Warren was offering. And we couldn't even tell that difference. People were ignoring that little fact, right? Because every critique you can make of him, you could absolutely make of Warren. But the one thing you cannot say is that he didn't vote for Bernie. And that is the little things that we kind of have to realize in the bigger picture, who is our ally and who is an adversary, just pretending to be an ally.
Yeah. I just want to send some final shout outs to certain people. Firepuff 12, Richard Carlton, Super Progressives. These are all the people that are on the rock thing. Glory Jones going back and forth to all 3 networks. Pleb, Spectrum is winning. And Niko, we're gonna get you out of here in a second. We're gonna go to a commercial break, and then we're gonna come back with Tina and Fiorella. They're on the ground. Also, we do have a super chat though, Niko, because I want you to finish off. It was on your network over here on the MCSC network. 521 people, almost 300 people on the Convo Couch. Mike Smith says this. Thank you for the super chat contribution. What can we do to keep them from rigging future voting? Eat the rich.
Well, that would definitely do that. But keep blowing the alarm like we're blowing it right now. People are watching. My grandma was watching, right? My friends are like, what is going on right now? Like, there are people who are watching this. No one is accepting these results from what I've seen so far. Like, the average person. And what makes it worse is for them, not for us. Now we don't have to question who our target is. It's Buttigieg. Yep. They've showed their hand, which they've always done. They always play their hand way too early. So now it's time to systematically dismantle everything about his being. And that will be achieved over the next couple of weeks as we head into New Hampshire. And I believe that Bernie will do their job on the ground. If they had a plan for Iowa, I damn sure know they got a plan for New Hampshire. And I know that Tulsi is definitely paying attention to election rigging and election integrity on New Hampshire because she always pays attention to that. So that we have to just keep blowing the whistle, man. We gotta if you can be on the ground, be a polling observer. That is another way that is something simple that we can do, because when there's more eyes on the prize, less people are going to be willing to put themselves in their careers on the line to steal. Like that's just how it goes. So there's a little thing. You can't ever guarantee you're going to have a 100% legitimate election. It's just not possible in our current state. In Venezuela, you can. They use fucking fingerprints. But
yeah, I know. And they have
America,
different sources of checking stuff.
in America.
Niko, let me just say this much too, as well as if you're a Tulsi supporter out there and you got some time, this is it. This is Custard's last stand in one way or the other. I'm going to say you got to get your ass to New Hampshire. Bring yourself, bring your shirt. Let's go. If you want to support Tulsi Gabbard, this is the time now. Hit the trumpet, hit the horns. It's time to get to New Hampshire. And guess what? The Convo Couch MCSC Network will be there next week on the ground. Thank you for joining us, Niko.
If you hate Buttigieg, I don't give a damn if you support Tulsi exclusively or not. If you hate Buttigieg,
get your ass there.
Get your ass to New Hampshire and throw on a damn Tulsi shirt. Go into a polling location, because right now, Tulsi, and this is not hyperbole, Tulsi is the only thing standing between us and a rigged primary. Because if she is there and is a buffer for the next in line, Buttigieg, Warren even, Biden on a comeback, if she's the buffer, then we're looking good going into Nevada in South Carolina as a unit. She is not there. It doesn't matter if Bernie wins 51%, if Buttigieg wins 59%. Understand that.
Yep.
You got to understand what momentum does, especially when we have to head into another shit show of a caucus before we get to South Carolina, before we get to California. And once again, I know everybody's going to find out, like that person probably said, it's going to be like what? It's going to turn out that Bernie won Iowa. It's what's going to happen. But it isn't going to matter because they're not going to report that shit. They're going to report that in a state where Bernie handily beat Hillary Clinton, Buttigieg gave him a run for his money. That's what they're going to report. So get your ass to New Hampshire, go observe polls, go donate so they can build up their infrastructure. Because like Pasa just said, man, this is Custer's last stand for all of us. It should not be taken lightly.
No, not at all. Niko, thank you for joining us. We'll get back with you later. If not today, tomorrow, the next day. We have a long way to go in primary season, and we'll be there to cover it. I couldn't say this any stronger, any louder. I am very proud and happy and humbled and love the fact that we have been teaming up for one of the most important elections, if not the most important election of our time, Niko House.
Yeah, you know what? All the credit to you and Fiorella and Robbie, who's been doing research behind the scenes. Tune into our MCSC Uncensored podcast tomorrow if you're a Rock Fan Premium or a Patreon subscriber. Robbie does great work as well. Johnny on the ones and twos has been killing it. What we were able to pull together last night with our very limited resources and a whole lot of effort. This is what democracy looks like. We're all activists. In all seriousness, we're all activists first. We all gave up, jobs. Some of them even got a little bit student debt, Johnny. But it didn't matter because we understood where we're at. We understand how big this moment is, and it shouldn't be taken lightly. And you should, as a person who happened to stumble upon y'all, I appreciate just y'all been right on everything. You've been dedicated to the work. Y'all have grown, and you've been willing to put, like I said, put rubber to the road. And it's been, I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, well, thank you. And I'm going to quote the kicker from the Mud Dogs. Well, let's not start kissing each other just yet. We got a primary to win. Mud Dogs, who? Niko House. Thank you for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back after a quick break. We have Fiorella and Tina. They're still on the ground in Iowa. We'll see you soon. Convo Couch, MCSC Network, covering the 2020 primaries, powered by Rockfin. Bernard Sanders released a folk album. What was the name of it?
He released a folk album?
Danny Garcia from the Inland Empire.
Jeremy Core.
I'm Chris.
Oline.
Carl Hines.
My name's Rhea. Bianca.
Let's get started over here. I got 10 questions.
Okay.
We're going to test your Bernard knowledge. You ready? All right, Tally. In what year did Bernie Sanders get arrested for protesting segregation?
Oh my God, it was 1959?
1967?
In the 70s?
Yeah.
64. 63.
1963.
1963 is right. Ding, ding, ding. As pertaining to policy, what is Bernie Sanders' nickname in Congress?
I have no idea.
I actually don't know.
You want?
Softy.
Passed bills.
The Amendment King.
Oh, at the Amendment King.
Boom! Tally got it right.
He got the most amendments ever, so whenever somebody tells you that Bernie didn't do shit in Congress, that's an absolute lie. He worked with the Rules Committee way back, and yeah, yes, Amendment King. Okay, let's...
Tally knows, the Amendment King. Okay, here's a good one. You might know this one. What sport did Bernie Sanders compete in high school and in college? What sport?
Basketball.
What's that?
Is it basketball?
Wrestling.
Basketball?
Basketball.
No!
Basketball. No, track.
Track and field?
Track and field is right. He was the captain.
I knew I read it somewhere.
Yes, it's track. It was track. He was the captain of the cross country team. And you're also right. He knows how to play a basketball. We saw him after the New Hampshire primary taking some shots.
Yeah.
He competed in track. He was the cross country track. That's important, Carl. We got to let people know that his heart is intact. Bernie Sanders had 3 jobs before he was a politician. Tell me one of those jobs.
Let me think about it.
Time's up.
I don't know.
Waiter.
He was a busboy, cook.
A waiter.
No.
Retail.
He was a writer.
That's right.
A university professor.
No, but he was also a filmmaker. He made a documentary about unionized workers, and he was also a carpenter like Jesus.
Like Jesus, yeah. Okay, like Jesus.
Last question.
A lot here.
I know you learn a lot in this trivia game over here. Each one give me an opinion. Bernie Sanders has a chance to become president. Who would you want to be as vice president?
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, but I think she's too young.
Yes.
So.
Who's your second choice?
Kamala Harris. Same.
Try again.
Really?
Wrong answer.
Really?
Really wrong.
Elizabeth Warren.
That will I'll take.
Yeah.
Not Joe Biden, not Cory Booker, and sure as hell ain't no Kamala Harris. No offense.
That's fine.
Watch the Convo Couch. We did a whole show on why Kamala Harris can't be our vice president.
The representative in out of New York.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She's too young. Aside from her, who would you pick?
Okay. Aside from her, seeing him interact with and just the knowledge of Cornel West. You know what I mean? Like if you were to pop up, be like Bernie with Vice President
Dr. Cornell.
Yeah, bro. Like that. I mean, now we're changing politics. Now we're making this revolution a whole nother thing. You know, now we're opening it up not just to the dudes that have been in the White House, but to the dudes that have the knowledge of the people of the street.
My first choice is Tulsi Gabbard, and I will give you a solid answer.
For vice president?
I want her
over Secretary of State.
I think she would make a great Secretary of State. But I think that I want somebody I can trust behind Bernie as his backup. And I will tell you why. People are criticizing his age. She comes with youth. Sometimes people say that she doesn't say, that Bernie doesn't speak enough or he doesn't jump on people. And Tulsi can bring that extra aggressiveness into the picture. She can also bring in the independents, the Republicans who don't like what the direction the Republican Party has gone into. She and Bernie augment each other's weaknesses. Where they can criticize Bernie, they cannot criticize her, and where they can criticize her, he comes in with his experience and his strengths. They have both been fighting for different causes, but in the middle, they both meet at the same point.
Either Stacey Abrams, if she's not paired up with Biden, I guess, already, or
funny you mentioned that.
yeah, or like Elizabeth Warren, I think would be great.
I want to see Biden again. We got a Biden.
With all due respect, that's a bunch of malarkey.
Dude, he loves too much ice cream.
You gotta go.
Tulsi.
Why?
I like her. I think she'll be a good running mate because she's got a military background. I know some of her record is a little bit, people have some problems with it, but overall, I think she's, got the heart in the right place.
Don't you think it would be a better choice for him to choose Nina Turner as his vice president?
I like Nina Turner too. I do like Nina Turner. Yeah.
Maybe Tulsi as secretary.
Yeah. I can see that. Yes, absolutely.
One last question for you, Tally. You did such a great job today. If Bernie Sanders becomes president, or has a chance to become president, who would you like to see be his vice president?
I definitely think it should be Tulsi Gabbard. I would like Nina Turner as well, but I do think Tulsi is positioned in a better place to become vice president. I think she has a base that would really help him at this point, and a growing base as well. And I think she would pull some of the centrists and the Republicans because of her, being a vet.
And just like that,
you win.
Cheers to that, motherfucker. My name is Jeremy Core. Watch the Combo Couch.
This is Danny Garcia. Please watch the Combo Couch.
My name is Rhea, and please watch the Combo Couch. My name is Bianca, and you better go watch the Combo Couch.
My name's Aline Hernandez. Watch the Combo Couch.
My name is Carl Hines. Watch the Combo Couch.
My name is Tally Cigalis, and watch the fucking Combo Couch.
That's right.
This fucking guy.
Welcome back to the Combo Couch, ladies and gentlemen, powered by Gofundme. We are covering the 2020 Democratic primaries. The first stop, Iowa, the caucus last night, surrounded by controversial. When Bernie Sanders took the lead from the updated results, the mainstream media and the establishment ceased to produce them. They automatically went to a murky situation where it was found out that the Bernie Sanders campaign had a backup. They had their own internal numbers, and they found out the numbers of the establishment was Fugazi. Joining us now live, boots on the ground. She was actually in, these ladies, they were actually in the precinct that had the first coin flip. Unfortunately, though, they weren't there for the coin flip. Ladies, Tina Desiree, Fiorella, how are we doing over there?
It's cold, but we're doing good. It is cold.
I could see you're indoors staying warm.
Yeah.
So last night, you ladies chose this one particular caucus. You walked on in there. There was a lot of controversial going on. At one point, you said there were 100 people who left, and then the leader of the caucus had to make a decision called the state. Can you walk us through that process and what you experienced last night there?
Yeah, so what happened was they were going into their first round of voting, and so everybody lines up behind their candidate person. So giant Bernie group, there was a large Pete group, there was a large Biden group, smaller Warren group, very small Amy group, small Yang group, and small Tom Steyer group.
I didn't even see the Tom Steyer.
So interestingly enough, though, if you hit the 50%, you're automatically locked in because that's a viable candidate. Everybody that's under 15% gets to realign. So Warren wasn't viable, Tom Steyer wasn't viable, Andrew Yang wasn't viable, Amy Klobuchar wasn't viable. So all those groups had to realign.
They had to have at least 36 people.
Right. So, that number is based on how many people were in the attendance, and there was 240 in this particular caucus. So what happened is after they realigned, the Bernie people were automatically locked in because he was viable from the first vote. So under the precinct captain's understanding was that they could leave because they were locked in. They turned in their card. And they turned in their cards. So the precinct captain had the cards. So that was the first controversy. Controversy was people left. And the convener started saying, well, then we can't count their votes. But they went to battle on that. She called the Iowa Democratic Party person who let her say that those votes could stay, that the precinct captain was actually correct.
Right. And after she called them, she decided that they were going to count those original votes. So they were going to only, they weren't going to take them away because that was the fear, because so many people walked out, including a significant amount of Bernie Sanders supporters.
Yeah.
But the people were under the impression that that was okay, and they continued to walk out. When they knew that she was like unsure of it, and they still decided that they were going to walk out. So that was it.
It ended up being fine though. So that was never. And actually, the real controversy happened after we left. So we stayed until we thought the caucus was finished.
Almost at the very end.
Yeah,
like
so
10.
I was. If you look at the Periscope, you'll see me. I'm zooming in on top of the table where they're showing the results. So I don't know what happened after we left, but at some point she decided that Bernie Sanders wasn't going to get 5 delegates, that it was going to get taken down to 4. And we were at the party at that time. We saw this tweet going viral, and I looked at it and I said, wait a second, that was the caucus we just left. How is this even possible? Bernie Sanders had 47% of the vote in that room. It wasn't even close. He had 101 people after the second realignment. Pete had 66. So in order for there to be a coin toss, there's supposed to be a tie of some sort.
And
so
there wasn't.
And there wasn't. Now, of course, she kind of finagled one. I don't think this is going to end up standing. I don't think what she did was correct.
Yeah. So I was speaking to the gentleman who produced that video, Jalen, and by that time before we left, they had 10 delegates, and the lady is you can hear her in Tina's video saying okay, it looks like there's 5 for Bernie.
Yeah, there were 10 total delegates.
Exactly.
Just to clarify.
So 5 for Bernie, 3 for Buttigieg, and 2 for Biden, making up 10. But then as she was telling people to go to their corner and decide who was going to be a delegate for those candidates, she was over there finishing up. So we were told, holy crap, we should go. We need to get to the other event. And
but let me clarify something too, because I don't know if people realize it. So something Iowa does that doesn't necessarily happen in every state is they actually pick their delegates at the caucus that night.
Yes.
So there isn't a second caucus or a second thing that happens within the campaign for those delegates.
That's what
they're chosen that night. And I think
there could be a recount, and
the convener signed herself up to be an alternative delegate for Pete right after this happened. So
she did. Okay, wow, that makes sense. And well, there could be a recount of sorts. That's why I think like the whole paperwork and the precincts captains have to know what they're doing to make sure they solidify the vote. But the thing that I find most interesting about the situation is that it was already over. They had told you.
Yeah, it was over.
Yeah.
They were already selecting delegates, so it was over. Also, I was talking to Jalen, and he was saying that Pete had 4.7 delegates. Sorry, 4.3. No, Bernie had 4.3. Pete had 2.7.
Yeah.
So what she did was she rounded up to 3 delegates for Pete, rounded down to 4 delegates for Bernie, and then somehow used snake math to
say there's now a tie.
And that
snake
she had
math.
to give it to do a coin toss to give it to, and then to give it to the Buttigieg.
I have two issues with this. I want to see that sheet because I'm not sure how she derived the 4.3 versus the other. I mean, he had 101 and Pete had 66. There's so much rounding that they do in this math that I'm pretty sure that something's off there. Let's start with that.
To begin with.
Snake math.
That's not what a tie is about.
No.
My understanding is according to the state rules is if this is the case, that last delegate goes to the person with the highest number of participants, voters.
Which would have been Bernie.
Which would have been Bernie. So none of this makes sense to me.
Yeah. Well, Fiorella, let's the funny thing about it is when you reported it was 101 to 66. That seems like a very, very clear distance of a Bernie Sanders winning. And like you said, the snake math comes into play and one thing happens of the other. What I want to concentrate right now, though, on Fiorella is that 9 months ago, you did a serious video, and you kind of pointed at Pete Buttigieg as being one of the main adversaries of the progressive movement. What did you see last night that really equated to what took place in Iowa yesterday when, once again, Pete Buttigieg, who I can't understand why anybody would vote for him. What did you see last night? What surprised you the most about him winning in Iowa? I shouldn't say him winning or him being close to Bernie Sanders with all those votes.
Yeah, and also declaring himself
the winner. Yes.
Yeah. Well, actually, I saw that the people that were there for him really looked at identity politics, looked at the platitudes, looked at his ability to give that sort of, we are going to reunite our party, bring honor back into the American people, that sort of thing. And
he's
Iowans,
polite. They like that he's polite.
And Iowans in particular do not like some sort of aggressive type of verbiage, and they like to hear people that are very polite and educated. And the man that I interviewed focused on that. When I asked him about policies, he couldn't name a single policy that he liked about Pete.
Yeah.
But he was able to name the way he spoke and how eloquent he was compared to Donald Trump. But another thing, Pasta, that we have to talk about is the fact that the Shadow app and
yes.
the ties to Pete Buttigieg and how that's so blatant, and how these people were out there partying with each other 2 days before the primary. It's pretty obvious. So anybody saying this is just incompetence or this is a mistake by the app is ignoring all of the money ties that Pete Buttigieg had to this app. That can't be ignored, along with the other coin tosses that we've seen online, like the guy where he just flipped it like that.
His hand. That should be wrong.
He
that
felt it.
He
smelt it.
Yeah.
He looked at it. He went,
He might have licked it.
Yeah.
No,
all these things. Well, let me ask a question to Tina.
You should have just run it up into the air and let it fall on the ground if you're going to do a coin toss.
Absolutely. They should have official coin tossers. Listen, Tina, I have a question for you, because you've been around. You've seen this before. Now, Fiorella just pointed out the app from Pete Buttigieg. We understand the nefarious actions that happen inside these caucuses with their snake math and everything. But alluding to what Fiorella talked about when it comes to actually why the people like Pete Buttigieg, he's nice, he's friendly, he's polite, the identity politics. When it comes to policy, it's nothing there. Squadouche. Zero.
Squadouche.
Don't you think it's time, Tina, that we should pick another spot other than Iowa to start off the Democratic primaries with?
Ooh, that's a good question, Pasta. Maybe yes, maybe no. I have mixed feelings on both Iowa and the caucuses. The things I like are this. I like that it's the heartland, so to speak. Mm-hmm. It's kind of, middle America. And I like that it's people getting together in this old school idea of barns and like talking to each other and trying to convince each other that their candidate is correct and like trying to win them over. And it's supposed to be grassroots. And in a way, I think it started out that way. It's no longer that though. So the problem is if you allow for this loosey-goosey stuff to go on, people take advantage of that. And so now you end up with the funky, weird math. You end up with the bad coin tosses. You end up with conveners that give themselves the final delegate slot after it's all done. And this is a problem because Americans don't trust the system. And if they don't trust the system, then it's all for naught. So it's a problem. So those are both the things I like and dislike. Where would we move that to though? Because if we move it to like a California,
how about a Super Tuesday? How about a Super Tuesday to start it off?
Okay, that makes sense to me. That seems more fair. Because the pushback you're going to get if you say, let's do California, let's do New York, all of the smaller Midwest states, et cetera, are going to complain about that and say, why do the big coastal populous states always get everything? They tell us what to do. I think there'd be some resentment, and I think that could be problematic. But if you're right, if we did something like a Super Tuesday where it was 7 or 8 states all voting for once on the same day, that would be a better gauge, and I think it would be more fair.
Yeah. I agree with Tina as far as it being kind of grassroots, but I also see the problems where, she didn't even know what the rules were. The woman in charge, Tabitha, she had no idea whether she was supposed to send them away or not. She thought she was, but she didn't make that clear. People were complaining. And also the realignment part, because first people, go to their first choice candidate. But the second part, the realignment part, people could make deals and be like, I heard about people being like some Yang supporters being sent to support Buttigieg, directed by somebody. Yeah. I mean, we don't really know the alliances these people are making. And by the way, Pete Buttigieg only went up in most of the time in the second realignment when the Amy Klobuchars or the Bidens and the Warrens, whoever was out, went up and like convened together.
So you're saying, just so to clarify your point, you're saying that they may have made back-end deals ahead of time, each candidate.
Of course.
To try to forward. Okay.
Absolutely.
No, that's possible. I will say this, though. I did go around the room last night and talk to the caucus folks. And in our particular room, and obviously this can't be said for everything that was going on.
Right.
In our particular room, most of the young people did go to Bernie.
Mm-hmm.
One of them went to Pete. One didn't. 25 total didn't realign, which means that they came in to support their initial candidate, and then they decided they didn't want to go with anybody else, so they left. So now the Warren people, interesting enough, a good 3 or 4 of them actually did go to Pete, and the rest of them went to Bernie. And I asked the ones that went to Bernie, I said, so you came from Warren to Bernie, that makes sense. What do you say about your friends here that just went over to Pete's corner? And they both laughed and they said, we don't understand why they would do that. Pete has totally different policies. We're more aligned with the Bernie policies. That's why we supported Warren initially, right?
So we don't know where these people like came from and what they're, it's just not clear. It's not a one person, one vote thing. It kind of turns into like a super delegate thing though at the end. And that's kind of my problem though with the delegate situation in general, because I believe it should be one person, one vote. Well, so now we're seeing Bernie win by the popular vote, and we're seeing Buttigieg still have more delegates. Again, I don't understand that.
I don't know that it'll stay that way. I think we're going to see some change on those numbers. Like, for example, I think that they're going to have to return the one delegate from our. That has to be fixed. I think that's just bad math. I don't think that was done correctly. But here's the thing that happens on that realignment. They have 15 minutes. They actually put the room on a timer, right? So they have 15 minutes to go around the room and try to convince these other voters to come join them. It's like a game of Red Rover, right? I think that's the best way to describe it. It's kind of fun. Yeah. It's kind of a fun environment. But a lot of those folks did realign. 25 is a pretty large chunk of that room that decided they didn't want to join anybody else.
All right. I have a question for you ladies, and then I'm going to get to some Super Chat contributions. The question is going to be, now that you've experienced the caucuses firsthand with your own eyes, do you think, and hold on to this thought for a second, I'll come right back to you, do you think that we should go to more of a caucus-like mentality across the nation, or stick with one person, one vote? Hold on to that thought for 1 second. I just want to say thank you for the Super Chat contribution to Mitch Osborne. Did you see Pete meet with Nashua, NH's mayor? What are they talking about? Supposedly, Sneaky Pete has met with the New Hampshire mayor, and they are bullshitting about something. Hopefully, we can get to the bottom of that, and there's no more messery going around. Jude M., thank you for the Super Chat contribution. Fiorella says it's always appreciated on the couch. And on the MCSC network, Copernicus Thinker says, is Chris Matthews feeling a little tingle up his leg for Mayor Cheat? I bet you he is. And thank you for the Super Chat contribution from Elijah Freeman. We love you, Elijah. Cheers. Please read the comment on Rockfin. Awesome job, MCSC Network, and major love to the couch for getting off the couch. Fiorella, now that you have experienced these caucuses firsthand, I would think that a caucus, since I'm a politically inclined junkie, that I would love to do a caucus. However, after speaking to Shahid Buttar yesterday, he says there's a lot of inaccuracies. Do you think we should go to more of a caucus mentality or stick with one person, one vote? First Fiorella, then Tina.
I don't think we have one person, one vote at this point, right? I think we should go over to one person, one vote fully. We should remove the delegate process and have people's individual votes count. So I think we need a reform of the entire election process. And I also think we need to protect our elections from situations like this, where any sort of inconsistency is not just has to be persecuted by the candidate's attorney, but by the entire system that we operate in.
Tina?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree with Fee. Look, we have a representative democracy right now, whether it's the delegate system, whether it's the electoral college, whatever it is, the entire system is set up as representational and not direct democracy. I think we should just have one person, one vote. Having said that, what Shahid said is correct. It's the inaccuracies. And part of that problem also is that they're not training these folks in what they're supposed to be doing at these caucuses. They're volunteers, most of them.
Yeah.
And they're not going through any sort of training on, like the convener in our caucus, she wasn't trained on what she was supposed to do. She was constantly having to call in to ask them for what do I do next? I'm not sure what I do here. Although I'm pretty sure she didn't call in on the coin toss thing. I think she pulled that out of the rule book and said, okay, it says I'm supposed to do this.
Yeah, I didn't see her on the phone.
I'm supposed to do this. And
I didn't see her on the phone for that one.
I'd like to think that be more beneficial to her. I think she just didn't know what she was doing. I don't know that she was particularly egregious or intentionally malicious.
But then she went in
but then she went and became a delegate for, so I mean, I don't know, who knows.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, yeah, I think we should have a true democracy in this country, and we don't have one now. We have too many areas in which the system can be manipulated for people who are in power, or people who want power. And until we address that, this is what we're going to have, this kind of stuff going on.
Well, Glory Jones sent a Super Chat contribution. I think you ladies should hear it. She says, Pete's a combination of Juan Guaido and a mechanical Chuck E. Cheese. Sending energy your way, ladies.
Yes.
Sending good energy your ways. Ladies, thank you so much. Boots on the ground. In Iowa, we have Tina Desiree Burke, Fiorella Isabel. Ladies and gentlemen, Tina has her own Rockfin. District 34. Get on over there, and thank you for watching the Convo Couch on Rockfin. You ladies have anything to say before you sign out of Iowa?
Real quick, I just want to say that Tulsi commented on Fee's video. Are you kidding me? And no one's standing there to challenge that for the coin toss. This fugazi coin toss. Like, are you kidding me? This guy's flipping it and stuff.
No, and Tulsi's right. The problem was, let's really make this clear to everybody. The thing was over, which is why we packed it.
This is a different coin toss.
Oh, I thought it was ours.
It
Okay.
was the funny one where he looked at it and
that's fugazi.
And nobody said anything. That's what's a group thing, though. People are like,
actually, there's a Pete Buttigieg lady there who's like was looking at him like, make sure it lands on the right side. Yeah, that's what it looks like.
I don't know. I mean, again, you shouldn't have a coin toss in a presidential election.
Ever.
Like, to me, that's just so much.
No, I think they should be doing rock, paper, scissors.
Oh,
Ladies, thank you so much for some reporting. If you got anything to say to the people in Iowa you want to sound off, please do.
Absolutely. Well, I'm just going to start by saying that 62% has been announced and has Pete leading with delegates, but not with the popularity. And it's stuck there. And we don't know where it's coming from and why it's stuck. This is corruption, you guys. We can't call it anything else. We have to start now and be aware of it and make sure the Sanders campaign is aware of it. And I think they are in a lot of ways. They produce their own numbers. But they need to hear that you are upset. They need to hear that you are concerned, because we're not going to wait till the convention or till California, where we have 494 delegates up for grabs, to then just start saying something. We are going to need help in California. We're going to need volunteers to fly them in. Look at how many volunteers flew into Iowa, and still all of this happened. So think about that for a second. Think about the size of California. I'm really worried about California at this point. So keep fighting.
Tina?
I would just say I shout out to all the wonderful Bernie Sanders volunteers that we met this week here in Iowa.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah, Peter, Jalen, props to you guys. It's been a good week as far as having solidarity with people. We met some wonderful, fabulous people that are working really hard on the campaign and really want to see this thing through to the end. So give them props. These folks are doing this on their own dime. They're here traveling. If they're not here local Iowans, they're here traveling and they're going to New Hampshire. They're following the campaign around and they're trying to help them, and they're volunteers. So make sure you give props to those folks. They're doing hard work, and it's amazing that they're willing to do that.
Look,
and
ladies,
let's make sure their voice counts, because they're working so hard. We got to make sure their vote is counted.
Absolutely.
And their work,
And ladies, I think we've always pushed to make sure that the grassroots and the campaign find a way to come work together. I think a lot has to be done when it comes to the campaign. But I also want to send a shout out to the campaign itself for having a backup and an app on these numbers and catching them too as well. So when you do good, we're going to praise you. Yeah. Yeah, Nina Turner. And Lewis Brooks says, Nina Turner, new head of DNC. Ladies, visualize it as you leave Iowa. Nina Turner.
Hello, somebody.
Ladies, thank you for some excellent work on the ground. Get home safely, okay?
Right on. We'll try.
Thank you, ladies. And thank you, everybody, for watching the Rockfin Convo Couch stream. We were here with Niko House. We were here with Tina Desiree and also Fiorella Isabel, and we had some great conversations. This is the coverage. We're doing it right here, and we're going to continue to do it. We're going to continue to update what's going on. We're going to have a few-hour breaks, go watch the State of the Union, and we'll be back with Tim Canova. Who knows better about election fraud than Tim Canova? He's going to be our guest here on the couch in a couple hours. We'll see you then. Signing off, Convo Ouch.